Some developments today on the refunds versus vouchers, but not in the way we expected. Department of Transport still haven't come up to a decision. Now 10 European countries, there may be more, have decided that refunds are covered under EU 261 or the Package Holiday Directive or a mixture of both. Neither of those major documents has been changed, but different governments are taking different interpretations on it. Aer Lingus have been processing a lot of refunds. This has been happening all the week. Ryanair have been processing refunds. But it's interesting that both Irish airlines are among the only two in Europe that are actually giving cash back to customers. That's relieved a lot of the pressure that was coming on to travel agents in particular. They'd taken the money off customers, they'd passed it on to suppliers like airlines, like cruise lines, and then they were seeking it back and not in a position to get it. The IATA end of month has just passed. Payments are being processed in both directions. Airlines will expect a net outflow over the next 2 or 3 months. Travel agents may be in the same situation. Ryanair announced numbers this morning which bring them right back to the figures of March 2014, which isn't that bad when you think of it. They carried over 5 million passengers. They do expect everything to come to a halt virtually April, May. Skeleton service, 20 aircraft in the sky. It is clear with both Aer Lingus and Ryanair that they're keeping their pilots and their aircraft certified for a quick return to the skies. The marquee routes, Doha with Qatar, very important for repatriation, and Chicago, Boston and New York JFK from Aer Lingus. For those flying to England, you still have Birmingham, Manchester and London, Gatwick and Stansted from Ryanair, and Heathrow from Aer Lingus, and Edinburgh and Glasgow in Scotland from Ryanair. Ryanair have Cork to Stansted, Aer Lingus have Belfast City, Shannon and Cork to Heathrow. Berlin, Dusseldorf, Frankfurt, Hamburg and Munich from Aer Lingus, Cologne from Ryanair, 2 cities in Switzerland from Aer Lingus, there's Zurich and Geneva, 3 cities in France from Aer Lingus, they're Lyon, Nantes and Nice. And both airlines are doing Amsterdam, Brussels and Lisbon. We also have Frankfurt from Lufthansa, Amsterdam from KLM, and we have Swiss to Zurich as well. American Airways, some word from them today. They are pushing back their Dublin services. Charlotte will not be happening in 2020. Dublin-Chicago resuming June the 4th, Dublin-Dallas July the 7th, and Philadelphia, that's coming on September the 7th. All that is notional and subject to change should lockdowns continue. And should that important stipulation that Irish people cannot enter the United States stay in place. If we're looking for any upside, and who isn't, inbound and outbound, if the United States lift those restrictions and things improve lockdown-wise in Ireland, there are a lot of aircraft on the ground in America which would do a nice little spin to Ireland and back. It could be a way of stimulating travel in both directions. We're a long way off that as we speak. Analysis from America overnight suggests that 2020 is a write-off a very weak fourth quarter, and there isn't much leisure travel in that fourth quarter, so whatever will be happening will be business. The Irish Tourism Industry Confederation not far behind them, writing off most of the summer. The earliest we can expect any sort of return is September. It's likely Portugal will be quicker to return than Spain, which is undergoing its own crisis at the moment. But a lot of people now saying that 2020 is not going to happen, and we're going to be planning and looking for our travel for 2021. That's not the sort of message we want to hear. A lot of uncertainty, not helped by the delay in getting any sort of decisive action from the Department of Transport. Maybe Monday we'll hear something back. Are vouchers now in play? Are refunds the only option? What happens to people who still have the final instalment on holidays to pay? TUI have pushed that to 4 weeks, but it's not a pleasant place for anyone in the charter holiday business to be at the moment. Big government money coming down the tracks, $25 billion of it available to American Airlines. They have until 5 p.m. today to apply for that. The first tranche of it is largely payroll. It's to keep people employed, keep people on the books. Air France are reportedly getting €4 billion in loans from French banks, underwritten by the French government, and KLM, $2 billion, underwritten by the Dutch government. Clearly the rules about state aid for aviation are all up for grabs, and we still haven't worked out vouchers subject to EU 261 and the Package Holiday Directive, or does it have to be the refund within 14 days as stated by the law? We await further word on that.